This video is the final investigation defense for Seminario de Integración y Síntesis subject. The title of my investigation is The Role of Ludic Activities in an English as a Foreign Language Classroom. As a student of the English teaching training course, the following research project is presented to investigate about the role of ludic activities in an English as a foreign language classroom in a public secondary school. This work arises from the curiosity to achieve new insights about the causes of the difficulty to perform general activities in Argentinian English classrooms with the purpose of developing the ways to reverse or minimize this behavior in students. In order to accomplish this project, investigations about the topic have been studied. This research is based on the book Research Methodology by C.R. Kothari. First of all, we formulate the research problem, then we formulate the problematic situation. The investigation continues with questions in the subproblems section. Subsequently, we establish the objectives, and after this, investigations are carried out in reference to the chosen research problem. These are reviewed and analyzed in the state of the art. In addition to this, the strategy and the specific methods that are useful to confront theory and facts to study are defined. This will be reflected in the methodological justification. In the following section, which is the theoretical justification, the problems specified is described and analyzed. In this case, the keywords that are addressed are ludic activities, learning through playing, for macro skills, and teacher's role. Here, the bibliography is reviewed and the theoretical approaches are exposed. As regards the method, the qualitative and quantitative approaches are combined in order to study the same phenomenon. Once the general strategies that serve to execute the work have been chosen, the specific forms and procedures that allow collecting and organizing the necessary information are addressed. The information is collected through an interview to a teacher and service to students with their corresponding analysis, tabulations, and interpretations. This is developed in the fieldwork analysis, which is later reflected in the appendix section. This analysis of the data collected allows to elaborate the conclusion. As regards the research project, we start with the topic, which is students learning English through ludic activities in a second-year classroom in a public secondary school in Villa Constitución. Then we go to the problematic situation, which states that it is difficult to get students involved in English activities while teaching a course at a public school. Most of them say that they do not understand or that they do not like studying it. So teachers have to develop new methods of delivering this subject in order to catch their attention and engage them into learning the language. What I want to analyze in this present research work are the different ways in which teachers give their lessons through this learning teaching strategy and how students respond and react in a second year of a public school in Villa Constitución, in an English as a foreign language classroom. After that, we move to the problem, which leads us to the following question. Is it possible for students to learn English through ludic activities? And the sub-problems that arise from these are: which are the most appropriate activities teachers should prepare for an adequate learning through playing? How to work with the 4 macro skills in these kinds of activities? Which is the teacher's role in this teaching methodology? Next, we have the objectives. The general objective is to determine if it is possible for students to learn English by means of ludic activities in a second-year English as a foreign language classroom in a public secondary school in Villa Constitución. And the specific objectives are to identify which are the most appropriate activities for an adequate learning through playing, to describe how to work with the 4 macro skills in these types of activities, and to analyze the teacher's role within the classroom. The keywords are ludic activities, learning through playing, 4 macro skills, and teacher's role. Talking about the state of the art, I found 3 investigations that arise from similar issues, and these are the effects of ludic activities as a motivational strategy to increase and use English vocabulary in 6th level learners at Asunción Elementary School, effects of ludic activities on the development of writing skills in 5th year students at Unidad Educativa Liceo Cristiano de Guayaquil, Campus 1, and ludic activities for strengthening the vocabulary of the English language. Then we move to the methodological justification, which is approached from the interpretive point of view. For this, we need to conceptualize hermeneutics, which is, in general terms, the art of interpretation. As such, hermeneutics has a rich history and can now be identified with 4 major fields of knowledge, which are conservative, critical, radical, and moderate. So, hermeneutics is a science that serves as a mediator to the object and the subject, who, for the application of certain rules of interpretation, can capture the meaning of the object that is manifested through language. As just stated, in this research, the paradigm is interpretive with a qualitative and quantitative approach, and focuses on the way in which knowledge about individuals and cultures is generated. They are inseparable because the mere fact of making an observation changes the result of it. During this investigation, the primary data collection methods used are interviews on observation and surveys. Regarding the theoretical framework of this work, it is related to the role that ludic activities have when teaching the English foreign language culture in secondary education. This section addresses the issue that frame the conduct of the research such as logic activities, learning through playing for macro skills, and teacher's role. There is an important question that has been echoing in my head these last years, and is why do students find it so difficult to learn English up to the point of actually hating it? We can see that not many pupils are happy to get to their English class. Surely there are a few special cases as a result of teachers using unconventional educational methods, but the vast majority of students feel demotivated when they have to attend English classes. And I have been wondering the reasons for this. Therefore, logic activities are effective tools when teaching English. These activities encourage students to practice their language skills without preparation, and through these exercises they can practice their skills in situations that closely resemble everyday life. The term refers to dynamic strategies that promote active learning involving students in doing activities out of the routine and thinking about what they are doing. So, the benefits of the implementation of ludic activities in language classes are a lot. Using this method has proven to have increased the motivation of students in the teaching-learning process of learning languages. The fieldwork is divided into the school history and present characteristics that gives a detailed explanation of the activities that are being carried out there. The school's organigram, some pictures of the school from the outside and the inside, the features of the class, the English teacher's interview protocol, and the student's survey protocol. Then we have the fieldwork analysis, and finally the conclusion, where the triangulation of information is shown, which was obtained through a series of instruments such as interviews with an English teacher, surveys to students of a secondary school, and the selected bibliography. An interpretation and analysis task is carried out, which starts from the key concepts defined in the theoretical foundation. As a result of the methodological triangulation, it is possible to reach the following conclusions. There are not many studies about the teaching methods based on recreational activities. However, it is a useful source that affects classroom life directly in a positive manner. In order to carry out this learning through recreational activities, the interviewed teacher agrees that the teaching proposals that are best integrated are those related to activities and projects that involve students in ludic learning processes. This is how knowledge becomes more representative and contributes to an improvement from the academic point of view. Likewise, the interviewed students are in favor of entertaining work due to the improvements they present in the acquisition of the foreign language in relation to the competitive learning approach in the traditional classroom. As previously detailed, the origin of students' lack of interest in the subject may be due to lack of motivation, negative attitude towards learning, and low class attendance. Another reason of the different levels of knowledge, that is, the difference in language acquisition in students, varying execution times, and contents comprehension. According to this, the teaching proposals applied to this type of work focus on activities that encourage students to take responsibility for their own learning through enjoyment and playing. From the teacher's perspective, working through recreational activities fosters growth in students' motivation and self-esteem as a result of the positive interaction that is generated. To conclude, it is pertinent to emphasize the incorporation of recreational activities in school environment with greater frequency in all types of educational fields, since the results of its application are highly positive for students, both from an affective and academic point of view. Their performance is favored by the motivation and enthusiasm derived from this kind of approach, and the favorable work climate contribute to a healthy coexistence inside and outside the classroom. Students feel safe and confident when carrying out their tasks. This paper does not intend to provide immediate solutions, but to open a space or debate and reflection that provides a path of action that allows positive influence in order to achieve quality learning.